Hello, my sweet little goblins. Guys, I'm back. My name is Jay and welcome to my channel. And guys, today, it's a very happy day. I know, it's been a hot minute since I've talked to y'all and I am sorry. And if you look at my last video on my channel, I said the same thing and I thought I was coming back and it's a whole mess, y'all. But you know, life is that way. I don't know, I got swept up with life, work, and I started my own little tea business that I can link down below if any of y'all are into tea. But yeah, that sort of swept me away and it got me way busier than I thought. You know, I don't know, they don't tell you really anything about being a small business owner except that it's hard and it's inconsistent and you will tear your hair out and yeah, it's fun, but I am here because I missed y'all so freaking much. Let's just talk about some gosh dang books. Can we talk about that? Like, I have a pretty decent book haul for you today, of mixed genres. Of course we have some horror, of course we have fantasy, and of course we have a little bit of middle grade because I am basically a 12-year-old in a 29-year-old's body. But yeah, guys, wow, it's crazy to be back. Do you remember the purple? Do we like the purple? I don't know. This is awesome. Anyway, I'm gonna stop gushing now and let's get into the books. All right, y'all. You know that I have to start with some dang horror. The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Can we just talk about how I worship our Lord and Savior, Grady Hendrix? And when I found out he was coming out with a new book called The Final Girl Support Group, I was like, yes, sign me up, let's go. Is it ready? Because I'm ready, my body is ready. I am actually, as you can see, in the middle of it, and I am in the middle of filming a vlog for it, so you can see my real-time reactions. So look forward to that. Yes, we're jumping in hard and we're jumping in deep into the YouTube stuff. So, basically, if you haven't heard about this book, it is about a final girl support group. And the main girl, the main protagonist we follow, her name is Lynette. And every girl in this support group basically is modeled after your iconic final girls of like the 80s slasher films. Like, you know, there's a girl that's modeled after the Friday the 13th movies. There's a girl modeled after the Halloween movies with Michael Myers. It is fantastic. And what is interesting about it is that it kind of goes into the aftermath of what happens when those final girls survive their killers. And now what they're experiencing is that someone is back and picking them off one by one. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I can just feel it. My next book is going to be a middle grade and it is Rose by Holly Webb. Now, I don't know much about this book. I was drawn to it, honestly, in the secondhand bookshop. And it's basically about a young orphan named Rose, and she goes to live in this magical mansion and discovers that she may have a bit of magic herself. So I'm excited. It's not very long, as you can see, and I love me a good dang middle grade. I just love feeling like a young child. I don't know. Middle grades just have it for me, and I had to grab this because it was like $2. So yeah. My next book is a book that was recommended to me by multiple people in my local bookshop, so I had to get it. It is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turner. Now, this is interesting because I've heard lots of good things about this book, but I don't know, something about it never really quite caught my interest enough for me to buy it. So basically, a woman named Evelyn Hardcastle will be murdered every night at 11 p.m. unless the main person in this book, Aiden, finds a way to identify the killer and stop the killer. And the interesting about it is that every day things repeat and Aiden wakes up in a new body that's supposed to help her find out the killer. I don't know. It sounds really interesting, and honestly, the recommendations from my local bookshop people, they were raving about it. They said it brought them right out of a book reading rut. So I was like, all right, let's grab it. That sounds cool. I'm trying to get more into like mystery thriller type things. They seem to be really trendy right now, and I just want to know what the hype is about. So this is definitely my attempt to get into the thriller mystery type of stuff. So my next book is Migrations by Charlotte McConaghy. McConaghy? I don't know how to say that name. But basically it is about a researcher who goes to Greenland to track the last migration of these specific birds. That sounds really like pedestrian and so boring, but this was another book that I was like talked into at my local bookstore. The owner was just raving about it. She said that it has everything. It has a little bit of love, it has a little bit of a mystery, and it does have some environmental sort of aspects to it because it's talking about, you know, the last migrations of these Arctic birds. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't necessarily, if I had picked this up and read the back of this, I don't know that I would have brought it home, but I trust the people at my local bookstore. So I grabbed it, we're gonna read it. I love some birds and I've always wanted to see the Arctic. I know, that's really strange. I don't know what's in the Arctic, but I want to see it. It probably is super freaking cool. My next book is actually another thriller, and it is also another book that I got talked into by my local bookstore people. I am very easily influenced, as you can tell, and this book is Descent by Tim Johnston. So this is about a family that goes on a vacation in the Rocky Mountains to do all the nature stuff, the hiking, etc., and their daughter goes missing. And so I guess the book is mainly just about like how she went missing and if they find her and all the drama that ensues from that. Apparently it's very fast-paced, it's a really high-octane thriller, and it is literary. The owner at the bookshop, she said that it's like the type of literary where you're like highlighting stuff or like, you know, marking it so you remember the lines. And I was like, that sounds good to me. I love literary things. That sounds dumb. Of course I love literary things, but I just love it when you find a line in a book and you're like, yes, I need to mark that. I need to write it everywhere. I want to tattoo it on my forehead. That is amazing. I like that kind of thing. Obviously, I like literary things. I don't know why I said that. See, I haven't filmed in a while and you know, it just takes some time getting back into. My next book, I'm not gonna lie, I know literally zero things about. But I decided, since I was just, you know, going all out on the book stuff, I would go back to my local bookshop and join a book club. And of course I joined the horror one. So this one is House of Leaves. Now, I don't know anything about this book. Like I said, I had to like Google it, and I had to actually like Google a few things before I got to a plot. But basically it's about a family whose house is, the inside is larger than the outside. I don't know, that sounds pretty cool. My excitement for this book was dampened when someone said it took them years to finish reading. My book club is not in years, it is in like 2.5 weeks. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get started on this. But so apparently it's written very interestingly. If I can just find like a page. Oh yeah, so you probably can't see, well maybe. Okay, so like see there's like passages within the passage, and then there's more passages, and then there are some pages where there's like 2 things. I don't know, but I'm intrigued, and the people who are a part of this horror book club are, well, they're horror lovers. Like they're like me, horror movie addict. Can you see it? Anyway, this is my favorite shirt. I just wanted to show you. My next book is one of the few YA novels in this haul. I've been really struggling with YA. I don't know why. Maybe I just haven't really read a lot lately that has resonated with me, but I thought I'd take a chance on The Poison Heart by Kaylin Byron. Now, I really almost didn't bring this home, but what sold me is that it's about plants. It's about plants and flowers and magic, and I am so about that. My gardening little heart is so excited to read this because I opened the first page and they were talking about like roses, and I love roses. I have a couple bushes. Anyway, so what this book is about, it's about the main protagonist, Briseis, and she has a very interesting gift where she can use her powers to turn the smallest seed into the biggest, most beautiful of blooms. And it's kind of a big deal. Her parents are really confused by it, but one day her aunt or her great aunt dies and wills her entire estate that is located in rural New York. And when she goes to this estate, she finds a big walled-in garden with poisonous botanicals, and she's hoping that maybe she can find a way to sort of control her gift. And I am so intrigued by this. So let's just pause here and like talk about how there is a woman of color on this cover, and I don't know, I was just really excited by that. She's beautiful, and it's lovely to see this kind of representation. I know things are like just rising and it's becoming more of a norm now, representation, but it still warms my heart so much to see it. But anyway, other than that, like the idea of a cool secret garden with poisonous plants, and then I want that power. I want the power to turn seeds into giant awesome flowers. Right now I'm sort of a 50-50 if I kill a plant or keep it alive, so this would be a super cool power. Anyway, I'm pumped to read this, I'm not gonna lie. So the next book is a book that I've been eyeing for a very long time, and I don't know, I just never pulled the trigger until right now, and it is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Now, if you're a Neil Gaiman fan, you've probably heard of this book. I have read, oh gosh, maybe I've only read Coraline. That is a travesty. I really need to get up on my Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman. Well, I loved Coraline and I love everything he's associated with. So can you even call me a fan? I don't know. Anyway, this is one of my favorite booktubers, one of her favorite books, and that booktuber is Alexandra Rosalind. If you don't watch her YouTube videos and you're into booktube, she is just, her like cozy, like sweet southern and cozy librarian aesthetic is just fantastic, and it just calms my anxious mind every time I watch her. Anyway, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, as I've heard it, you either hate it or you love it. There's really not an in-between, which makes me nervous because I don't know. It's not a very thick book, so there's not a lot of room to like make decisions or be in the middle. But basically it's about a middle-aged man who goes to his childhood home to attend a funeral, and he sort of remembers his remarkable friend and her family at the end of the lane. And I don't know. I don't know what happens in here other than that. And I'm not sure how that can be so, you know, polarizing, but I'm excited to find out. So the next book, when I read the synopsis on the back, it was just for sure coming home with me. And this is Rules for Visiting by Jessica Cain. And I'm really excited about this book. It's not fantasy, it's not horror, it's just a contemporary fiction book, but it's basically about a woman named Mary Attaway, and she loves two things: literature and her job as a botanist at her local university. And she thinks that maybe she might love plants more than people, which, homegirl, I get it. I get it. But she decides maybe it's time to get some practice at being better at friendships and relationships. So she takes some time off from her beloved job to go on a journey to reconnect with some long neglected friends. And one of my best friends, Irina, is reading this right now, and she says it's fantastic and it's exactly up our alley because we're both introverted, we both love plants, we both love books, and yeah, I'm really pumped to get into this one and just feel the kindred spirit, if you know what I mean. Okay, the next book is another, I guess it's horror, I don't know. I've seen it a lot on like horror booktubers and bookstagrammers feeds. So I think it's horror, but this is Ring Shout by P. DeJaylee Clark. Ooh, yeah, that's probably not how you pronounce that name, but I tried, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is supposed to be about the KKK, some demons, a resistance group called the Harlem Hellfighters, and the end of the world. And y'all, that's all I needed. Sign me up. And it's not very long either. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. So yeah, I'm pumped for this one. And look at this cover, it's fantastic. My next book is a graphic novel. It is The Ice Cream Man, and it is by W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo, Chris O'Halloran, and it is volume 1. And I genuinely have no idea what this is about. All I was told was that it's multiple stories in the book, and there's some horror elements. So if I can just read real fast. Ice Cream Man is a genre-defying series of disparate tales of sorrow, wonder, and redemption. Each installment features its own cast of strange characters dealing with their own special Sundays of suffering. Well, we like Sundays and we like suffering on this channel, so what can I tell you? Okay, the next book is not necessarily one that I bought, but I borrowed from Irina. She is my book best friend, and she has an intense collection of graphic novels, and she let me borrow Tomi. Tomi by Junji Ito. Junji Ito is another horror novelist that we all frickin' stan on this channel, okay? I will literally read anything of Junji Ito's. Now, Junji Ito is a manga artist, so this is a rather large manga, and he does horror. So this is basically about a succubus type woman who literally can't die no matter how many times she's killed. She can basically seduce a man into doing anything for her, and I am ready for this book. Like, ready to read this. I love Junji Ito. He's so disturbing, so unsettling. Like, things that I didn't think that I would be disturbed by, he has made me disturbed. Yeah. So another book that I also got from Irina is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. It's volume 1. I've already read this. I've already read Uzumaki in all of its volumes, but I wanted to grab it because I don't have a personal copy. This is like where it started for me. The Uzumaki was my first introduction to Junji Ito, and it's basically about a town haunted by spirals. And again, he does this thing where he makes you scared of things that you didn't think you'd ever be scared of. Why can't I talk? Oh my God. But truly, like, also snails. Be ready. My next book is one of my few dark academia kind of books in all of my collections. I probably only have 2 or 3, including this book, and it is Katherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. Now, I have heard all sorts of fantastic things about this book, and I'm very excited because it is about a school that is pushed into the far rural woods of Pennsylvania, and basically, if you get admitted to this school, all of your goals will happen. You will succeed in anything that you want to in life. The only trade-off is that you have to give up your outside life, the outside world as you know it, for 3 years and devote yourself to Katherine House. Now, we do have a main character, her name is Inez, and she starts to sort of catch on to sinister happenings and that the school might be harboring a dangerous and dark secret. Yes, guys, yes, we love this vibe. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm ready to read this. My next book is another horror novel. It is Carrie by Stephen King, and as you can tell, I got it from a secondhand shop. Actually, no, this was a library sale, so that's super cool. Got to support my local library by not borrowing books, but buying books from them. I really need to work on that. Need to borrow some books. Anyway, rambling. if you're not familiar with Carrie, Carrie was made into a very famous movie, but I have never read the book. And it is basically about a young girl who has sorry, I almost said telepathic, but it's telekinetic powers where she can move things with her mind. I'm really excited to read Carrie finally, because I've seen the movie 1,000,001 times. Truly one of my favorite movies. Sissy Spacek is a horror queen. Just the ending scene with the pig's blood and the flames. Y'all. Also, if you have not seen that movie and I somehow spoiled that for you, I'm gonna apologize, but I really feel like you should have seen it by now, because it is fantastic and you deserve that goodness in your life. So please go watch it. And then let's read it together, because why not? My next book is Lost Lake by Sarah Addison Allen. Now this book, it's interesting. It's basically about a idyllic sort of lakeside community that surrounds Lost Lake, and it is about the people that sort of you know, come in and out of this community, because it is a lakeside community, so people sort of cycle through the seasons. That sounds kind of like whatever, but Sarah Addison Allen is one of my favorite authors. Her books and books like these get me out of a reading rut so freaking fast. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's very heartfelt. It's sort of lighter reading. It's not my typical horror or fantasy. I can wrap my head around the story a lot faster, I guess. But also, this is gonna sound ridiculous, she always has a really good food element to the book, to her books. She is a Southerner. I think she actually lives in North Carolina, just like me. And she tends to write stories that are set in the South, which I love. I love living in the South, and I love reading stories about the South. So I'm really excited. This is another book that I got secondhand, so it was literally like $1. I'm pumped about that because it's one that I haven't read of hers. Anyway, now I'm rambling because I'm a Sarah Addison Allen fangirl. Okay, this next book that I'm going to talk to you about is actually a book that I've already read, and I'm going to tell you my star rating for it and why I rated it really quickly. But this is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now, if you have not heard of this book, it is a very, very good book. It is basically about a girl who has trouble with her life, and it's really sad, like in the beginning at least. So trigger warning if you're kind of about suicide. There is a moment in the beginning where it happens. But basically, the Midnight Library is located in between the space of life and death. And here she gets a chance to live all of the lives that she wanted to, and sort of like go back and undo regrets basically, and see what her life would be like if she had taken a certain path or changed one little thing. It is good. It is very good. It's a quick read. It's very, very cozy. Like, light a candle, brew some tea. Imagine that you are sitting in a cafe on an autumn evening, kind of cozy. The only reason I rated this 4 stars, and the only reason I docked it 1 star is it just didn't have that last little oomph to give it 5 stars. It was very emotional. It was very poignant. It was very, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I guess my only quip with it is that it felt just a smidge preachy at times. You know, they start to, when they're trying to hammer a certain lesson home in a book or a movie, sometimes you start to get the feeling that you're kind of being beat over the head with it. Not to say that anything is being beat over the head, or that you're gonna be beat over the head with anything in this book, but there was a moment where it was starting to feel like we were inching towards that, and it just started to get a little, I don't know. But it was great. You need to read it. You should read it. It's fantastic. It'll make you feel so warm and fuzzy by the end of it. But realistically warm and fuzzy, you know, because life is complicated, and that's what this book is about, how complicated life can be. The next book I'm actually really pumped to talk about, and it is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Y'all, Tracy Dion, she is a local author. And when I mean local, like the next town over from me, I know someone who knows her, who's good friends with her, who takes Instagram pictures with her, and I'm like, yeah, oh my God, I have your book. I have your book and I'm really excited about it. Truly, like I don't know. I feel like I get more starstruck over like authors and like celebrity chefs than I do over like actual celebrities. I mean, to be an author, that's admirable. You wrote a whole dang book. I can't even write a whole dang chapter sometimes, most times, every time. Like, I don't know. But another reason I'm really excited about this book, other than she's a local author, is that it is a King Arthur spin-off. Or a retelling? No, I think it's a spin-off. I think that they have elements of the Arthurian legends in it. And if you know anything about me, I love 3 things: horror, fantasy, King Arthur. I love some King Arthur. I will literally devour anything that is King Arthur related. I don't know why, I just love it. So basically it is about the main girl. Her name is Bree, and she is at UNC Chapel Hill, which is a really good university that is seriously so close to me. I could just drive over to the next town to be on that university. But she's there for a program for bright high schoolers, for advanced learners type of deal. And on her first night there during the program, she witnesses a magical attack. There are demons, there are demon hunters, and there are people here who are descendants of King Arthur and his court. So this is literally everything that I want, and I'm so excited. Oh my God. And again, one of the few YAs, but I had to grab it because hello King Arthur, yeah. The last book in my haul, and it is actually another YA book. So 3 YAs, not bad, not bad. But it is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I wanted to get that correct. But what a beautiful cover, am I right? It's just so colorful. Oh, I love it. But basically our main protagonist, Decca, she has a custom in this, or rather her village has a custom where they sort of have like this blood ceremony, and you can either bleed red blood or gold blood. And of course she bleeds gold blood during the ceremony, which is considered impure. And so she basically, this is basically punishable by death in her, I think by death, or it's punishable with a fate worse than death in her village. I'm kind of fuzzy on that detail, but basically a woman comes along, a mysterious woman, and offers her 2 choices. She can accept her fate in her village and stay, or she can come with her and fight in an army for the emperor, in an army that is filled with girls just like her, who have rare gifts and are basically immortal. This was recommended to me by a close friend, and I managed to snag a signed copy, so that's freaking cool. But it was recommended to me by a close friend, and I am just going out on a limb. I'll be honest, I don't know that I would have picked it up if it wasn't recommended, so I'm excited to get into it and get out of my comfort zone. I mean, I don't know that it's out of my comfort zone. It's a fantasy, and we all know I love some fantasy, but yeah. Anyway, it's beautiful, it looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful. I'm really pumped. And an army of like gifted immortal girls, yeah, I'm here for it. All right, y'all, that was all the books that I bought recently. Yeah, it's quite a stack, but I'm really pumped to share it with you. I hope you found some ones that resonated with you. If you have read any of these books, please let me know. Let me know what you think. I'd love to chat about it with you in the comments below. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really helps my channel, and hit that notification bell so you always know when I've got good things coming to you. Bye, y'all. But it is blah 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 blah.